Hi, I'm Michael Janich. I'm the Special Projects Coordinator for Spyderco. We're here at the 2022 Blade Show. And I'm also one of the designers for Spyderco. I'd like to share something with you. This is my latest design. It's called the Yojumbo. So Yojumbo comes from Yojimbo. This is the original Yojimbo 2. This one actually is tricked out a little bit. Was Cerakoted by a buddy of mine. So this is not a stock item, but it's something I designed for Spyderco back in 2011. And it's basically my take on a personal defense knife that also works really well for utility as well. One of the things is every knife, when you look at human hands, you look at inanimate objects like knives, there is no one size fits all. So what it comes down to is I had a lot of people who were really enamored with the Yojimbo 2, but they said, hey, I have bigger hands, or I live in a place where I can carry a larger blade. Can you make a larger version? So I did. So instead of a 3.2-inch blade, we scaled this up to 4 inches, changed the handle ergonomics a little bit. So for smaller hands, basically you have the first 2 scallops here, fits in nicely. If you have larger hands, it just gives you more real estate to be able to spread your hand out over the entire knife. As far as the mechanics of the knife and everything, it's identical to the original. So it's got a compression lock mechanism. So the Spyderco compression lock looks like a liner lock on the back of the handle, but actually what it is, it's a much stronger locking mechanism. The ramp faces upward instead of backward like a traditional liner lock. So when you open that up and that liner comes over, it actually is being sandwiched between that ramp and the stop pin. So mechanically much stronger. It's a CPM S30V stainless steel blade. Deep hollow grind, but it still has lots of thickness up at the top. So what it gives you is great edge geometry, but also enough mass to be able to open the knife very quickly. Coarse textured G10 scales. The liners are nested within the G10. And it's got a 4-position clip. So tip up, tip down, left or right side carry. When it's closed, very nice slim profile to it. So even though it's a large knife, it carries nicely in the pocket. And for folks who prefer something that's non-reflective, we also do a version that is all blacked out. So the blade has a DLC coating, diamond-like carbon coating, and then the liners, the clip, all the handle hardware also have matching black coatings. So again, it's called the Yojumbo. Yojimbo is the Japanese term, means bodyguard. Jumbo just made it a little bit bigger.
The handle ergonomics, how did you develop that? Any particular way, or you?
Sure, what I do for the handle ergonomics, I came up with the basic design, and then what I do is kind of like what Spyderco does. We show off our prototypes and everything at trade shows. We let people handle it. We get feedback from people. So what I did through my Marshall Blade concept system, when I teach and everything, I'll take the handmade prototypes that I make and give them to different students, different hand sizes, get feedback from different folks. I got a number of guys in my group that are have really big hands, and basically worked with them. They were kind of my control group to kind of figure out those ergonomics and fine tune them before I came up with the final design.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of times when people make knives, they just sort of slap a handle on it without a whole lot of thought, but this really is kind of innovative.
What's difficult for folks is, you know, we all only have one set of hands. So it's a very subjective, personal thing because you're doing your own thing, but it doesn't necessarily translate to somebody else. So I really like the idea of you create something, you pass it around, you share it with other folks, you get feedback, you get people of different sizes, and you see what their feedback is. Again, there's going to be, unless you make a handle that is perfectly straight, you know, if you hand somebody a hammer or something like that, where there's no ergonomic complexity to it, that's one size fits all. But as soon as you start incorporating any kind of features, any kind of finger grooves, or any sophistication to the design, it starts to limit the audience. Doesn't make it wrong, it just narrows the audience to people of a particular hand size. And again, it ultimately is subjective. You know, if it's something that feels good to you, it works for you. If it doesn't, there's plenty of other knives to look for out there.
All right. That was nothing short of excellent.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.